Welcome back to Primetime News, and a special welcome to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com. First up this evening, residents of Cooper's Pen are calling for the Prime Minister to help them find a solution to their plight. The people made the call on Saturday during a peaceful protest staged on the streets of Trelawny. Details in this report.
The signs and their cries carried the same message: we need help. They took the appeal to the streets of Trelawny from early Saturday morning.
I was born and grew up Cooper's Pen. My father and my grandmother born and grew up Cooper's Pen. And we live for ever since. And then come now and broke down play. We don't know what's going on. Where we go? When them broke down, instructor them. And I say some more house we live in and not all. A good quality house we live in, and then I come to and see and we find out, and you know, and make them tie down, drop down placard on the roadside and send notice, all them things there.
At 64, when me go, me start life again. Can't start life again. Me at 64-year-old, me can't start life again. Me should they relax now instead of me they start over again.
The residents' action this morning is really a desperate measure, a desperate action calling for help. It's over a week has elapsed, and the people are yet to know if they're coming or going. All they're getting is threats of demolition and threats to remove.
The residents of Cooper's Pen have not only been living in tents, but also in uncertainty for the last week and a half after 20 homes in the community were demolished in a pre-dawn operation by agents said to be operating on behalf of the private owner of the land. The people are again asking for some high-level state intervention.
The minister now come out, we neither. We not no representative. The MP now step out to we neither.
See this man we out to say now. Peaceful demonstration and see what they send come. Bag of police come. For what? This is no politics business, man. You understand me? We need somebody to stand up for it. Big time.
All we are asking for from the government, first of all, help us to buy the land. If we cannot buy the land with our houses, if we stay on the land with our houses, relocate us and give us a start. I cannot start over again. And I speak for myself and majority of the persons here. We cannot start over again from scratch. We are peacefully asking for help. People, we have nowhere to go. We are human. We choose Jamaica. Prime Minister, choose us.
Police officers kept a watch over the protest Saturday, which remained peaceful. Halshane Burke, TVJ News.
Thanks, Alshane. And staying with land-related issues, renewed appeals this evening for stronger laws to be implemented to protect the public's rights to access beaches in Jamaica. President of the Jamaica Beach Birthright Environmental Movement, JABEM, Dr. Devon Taylor, says there seems to be an increase in the approvals for overwater villas in the island without fully understanding the implications.
When we look at how we're losing access to our coastline, right? We've been asking those questions. Why there are not laws in the country that protect the Jamaican people's right to the coastline? And we come here tonight and we ask that question. NEPA did not have an answer. The EIA specialist did not have an answer. Sanders representatives was here and they did not have an answer. So we the people are still asking the question, when are our rights to the foreshore will be recognized?
Dr. Taylor's concerns followed a public consultation meeting to discuss the plans by Sandals Resorts to construct overwater suites in Miami Bay in St. Anne.
The EIA could not tell us what are the return on investment when you take the ecosystem damages, the impact on the reef, on the seagrass beds, right? And the erosion and the changing waves that will impact, all the ecosystem in the space. And on the human factor that the fisher folks will be denied this part of the sea, the recreational users will be denied this part of the sea, and the boaters that use this channel will be blocked.
The National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, has indicated that no final decision has been made on the project. The agency stressed that the consultation is the preliminary step required by the environmental impact assessment process. Farmers are being warned to be on the lookout for an increase in pests. The threat is the latest facing farmers due to the ongoing drought. Details in this report. Dry, infertile soil, burnt farmlands, withered plants, and very little water. Farmers are in a stranglehold from the drought. And yet, there's another threat: that could make matters much worse.
Drought places crops under significant heat and moisture stress, of course, which can make plants more vulnerable to pest and disease problem. RADA has already been advising farmers through our plant health department and our technical services about the hot and dry conditions. Farmers should pay particular attention to pests such as mites, spider mites, thrips, whiteflies, aphids, mealybugs. Those are just few of the pests that they should pay attention to.
And since these are not normal times, farmers are being advised to start using their emergency measures.
From RADA's perspective, we are therefore treating this more than a short-term event. Our message to farmers is to ensure that we start practicing drought mitigation methods. Farmers should conserve on water now, harvest whenever rain occurs, use irrigation efficiently, and implement moisture retention practices as best as possible. We have to manage this drought.
Jamaica is being impacted by a climate pattern known as El Nino. This event occurs every 2 years or so, and among other things causes an increase in sea temperatures. Experts say this El Nino is likely to be the strongest in living memory and could carry over into 2027 and make that year the hottest ever, meaning the strain locally is not likely to end very soon.
The outlook indicates that these conditions could persist over the coming months. El Nino conditions are expected to strengthen throughout the latter part of 2026. So we have to prepare for the possibility of continued reduced rainfall and elevated temperatures.
Residents in Old Harbour Bay in St. Catherine are appealing for the roads in the community to be fixed. They believe the area has been neglected by their political representatives. Kalisha Williams has their story.
This is one of few vehicles that can safely navigate the poor roads in Old Harbour Bay, St. Catherine. According to residents, the roads have been in a poor state for years.
All our money we put out for the road them in southwest St. Catherine. Nothing now going for Old Harbour Bay. Me have a little piece of ride there every minute. Me have to buy shocks. Me have to buy front end parts, everything for it, because look on the road where say if rain fall right now, you can't put on a good shoes and come out of your yard, because of pure water.
It seems like since the main has changed, we had found that maybe the old main seems to be break or getting feedback through from the other side. So this part has been taking some beating over the years, read the water.
Taxi operators say they have had it worse.
Yes, when it road good, fair to all about it, I want 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But you have to take longer now.
It come like every 3 months you have to buy bearings and this, ball joint, leak out, control arm every minute. Like all 4 times a year, 5 times we have to do it sometimes.
Residents believe the community has been neglected by the authorities, and they stressed that the Councillor for the Old Harbour South Division, Dr. Kurt Wall, and the Member of Parliament for South West St. Catherine, Everald Warmington, have been at odds over road repairs in the community for some time now. In 2025, Dr. Wall complained that his division was overlooked in the Spark program and he was deliberately excluded from the consultation meeting. At the time, Mr. Warmington rejected that claim. He stated that all stakeholders were invited to the consultation and recommendations were made about which roads should be fixed. When we contacted Dr. Wall today, he doubled down on his position that the Old Harbour South Division was sidelined. On the Spark website, 7 roads have been listed for repairs in the Southwest St. Catherine constituency, but Dr. Wall said none is from his division.
Councillor get through, councillor can't fix the road. Councillor have a family in, councillor if you are going and pack it every minute. So sooner or later, you hear your wife left councillor. Because councillor money are done in people them, and you have to take care of people them.
We unsuccessfully tried to get a response from Mr. Warmington. However, the National Works Agency told our news team that the roads in Old Harbour South fall under the remit of the municipal corporation. But Dr. Wall explained that outside of the Spark program, the money allocated to councillors is not enough to repair all the roads in the division. Kalisha Williams, TVJ News.
Thanks, Kalisha. And we take another break with more local stories when we return.